So thanks for everybody for coming today. The Will County VAC is very excited to be partnering up with the Village of New Lenox, the VFW, and the American Legion on a huge collaboration of putting this together today. Had the weather been nicer, that would have been wonderful, but you guys are the real troopers here, so thank you very much. Without further ado, I want to make a special thank you and introduction to the Master of Ceremonies today, Mayor Tim Baldermann.
Thank you, Christy. And thank you all for being out here today. Thank you to all of our veterans. This is all about you. Coming together once a year to honor those that have sacrificed so much is the very least that we can do. In this country, we often take for granted our ability to exercise free speech and to free assembly. In reality, it is only because of the sacrifices that our veterans have made that we can live in the freest and greatest country in the world. I always make sure that I mention, because it is equally as important, to say thank you to the family members of our veterans. They sacrifice so much by supporting their loved ones who have chosen to dedicate their lives to our nation. In particular today, I want to recognize those Gold Star families who live with the pain of having lost a family member. It is my hope that they can find some peace in knowing that our nation is eternally grateful for their sacrifice. At this time, I want to say thank you to some of our elected officials that are in attendance, but first and foremost, again, a thank you to all of our Gold Star families, some of whom that are here today. We also have with us Congressman Bill Foster, State Senator Pat Joyce, State Senator Meg Capel, County Executive Jennifer Bertino-Tarrant, State Representative John Connor, and State Representative Natalie Manley, as well as County Board members Tom Weigel and Denise Winfrey. If there's anybody I missed, I want to say thank you also for being out here. I would like to ask every veteran to please raise your hand, as most are standing, so you can be recognized, because this is all for you today. From all the way back to World War II, a special round of applause. Thank you. I'm now going to call VFW Post 9545 Commander Tim Terrell to post the colors. Please stand.
Column left, right?
I'd like to call up Eve Bowman, daughter of retired Command Sergeant Major Mark Bowman and Plainfield native, to sing our national anthem. Thank you, Eve. That was outstanding. At this time, VFW Chaplain Wild Bill Welch will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by a veteran prayer.
Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Veterans, present. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Order! Arm! It's great to see the school kids out here. Hey, kids. Thanks for coming out. Dear Lord, today we honor our veterans. That's all. I had to. Today we honor our veterans, worthy men and women who gave their best when called upon to serve and protect their country. We pray that you may bless them, Lord, for their unselfish sacrifice and the continual struggle to preserve our freedoms, our safety, our country's heritage for all of us. Bless them abundantly for the hardships they faced, for the sacrifices they made, for the many different contributions to America's victories over tyranny and oppression. We respect them, we thank them, we honor them, we are proud of them, and we pray that you will watch over these special people and bless them with peace and happiness. In Jesus' name we pray, amen. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Bill. If you have a seat, please feel free to be seated. At this time, I'm going to invite VFW Commander Tim Terrell to the podium to talk about Veterans Day.
Thank you, Mayor Baldwin. Hear me okay in the back? Thank you. I'm sure this is the biggest crowd we've had in the 10 years or so I've been here, so I'm very excited to see that you weren't afraid of the weather, and I'm glad the weather cooperated and skies opened up a little bit. Going all the way back to the American Revolution, for everyone who served, there was no question about what they were fighting for. It was for their house, for their home, their business, their farm, their village, town, or city. It was for freedom. That freedom has transcended the generations, not because it's been guaranteed, or it has come easy, or because over the years, selfless Americans have continued to stand up, raise their right hand, and commit to ensuring liberty for all. Today, we celebrate the millions of veterans who have ensured our freedom since America's humble beginning. We celebrate their determination, their dedication, and their unwavering patriotism. Through war and in times of peace, America's veterans have remained committed to ensuring our great country glad I didn't wear gloves. To remain the land of the free, and it is surely the home of the brave. Throughout our history, time and time again, our veterans have answered the call to service with resolve, resilience, and have all reaped the many benefits. We have all reaped the many benefits from their selflessness. For many in our country, today is just another day. They may be at home or work, running errands and other things, oblivious of the occasion. But for those of us here today, we know the importance of this day, the importance of honoring the sacrifice of the relatively few to afford every American the opportunity to live free of tyranny and fear. Since the VFW was founded in 1899, we, through our thousands of posts and millions of members, have worked diligently to turn indifference towards veterans into making a difference for veterans. While we cannot ever fully repay the debt of gratitude we owe this special group of individuals, we start by celebrating them today. We teach our children of their sacrifices. We encourage others to show their support and appreciation at every turn. We work together to honor our veterans, not just on Veterans Day, but every single day. Every American citizen, each of you here today, has a role to play in carrying forward the legacy of our freedom. That's one reason why it is so important that we continue to reach out and support our newest generation of veterans, those who have returned from the front lines in Afghanistan, and help them pick up when they are down. Offer support through their transition to civilian life, and help carry them when they are weary and feeling alone. We can never repay the debt we owe to our nation's heroes, but it remains our duty to try. Today, more than 1.5 million members of the VFW and its auxiliary celebrate the honors of the millions of American heroes who have selflessly gone whenever and wherever they were called. I hope today serves to motivate us all with a renewed sense of patriotism, purpose, and pride. For America is truly the best country on earth as a direct result of those who serve it. Thank you to all my brothers and sisters in arms. Happy Veterans Day to each of you. At this time, I'd like to invite our Vice Commander Rick SOTH to the podium to speak of our veteran brick walk.
Thank you. Good morning. Nice to see you out on a sunny day. First of all, I'd like to thank Mayor Baldermann for allowing this project. Brian Williams, who kind of put everything together with Berry Landscaping, and Berry Landscaping for putting up with Dan Saipian and me arranging the bricks. Christy McNichol for organizing this day. Dan Saipian was my right-hand man. He helped me sort through the bricks. We built groups of family members. His favorite saying is, "You're not going to like this," and then he'd tell me what error was on the brick. If you have an error, contact me and we'll make it right. Thanks to Frank Novak, he's the money man. He took care of all the money. Larry Preveza for the advertising. Bill Clee for computer assistance. I'm honored to have spearheaded this project. All proceeds go to the Relief Fund. The bricks cover a spectrum of World War I, World War II, Europe, Asia, North Africa, and the Aleutian Islands. Charter member. Recently, I had a man who was an American who flew for Britain, and he wanted a brick. These bricks tell a story. We remember the friends and the relatives with the bricks. Many families have whole groups. We have one individual, Larry Martin, over there. He asked me if he could add another brick to his group. Sure, why not? It only took 3 men to pick up his group and move them around. We have a number of groups. The Opaka family had 7. My family had 7. I think Larry Soja, he had 5. So one person wanted us to move a man from the brick area we have now to the KIA section because the man died of Agent Orange. Many of us Vietnam veterans have complications from Agent Orange. If you look at this group up here, we're poster boys for Agent Orange. The individual may get moved, but for now, I think he's in a pretty good group. Since I joined the Anderson VFW, I've been fortunate to work with fine men and women whose only goal is to help veterans. This is an ongoing project, and we will continue to take orders. When you leave here today, consider visiting the traveling wall in the American Legion. I'll be visiting 4 of my favorite friends over there for the reason that I'm here today. Thank you.
Thank you, Rick. Again, it's great to see all of you out here. And aside from being the mayor of New Lenox, I had the good fortune of being the superintendent of Union School District 81. I happen to think the best school in Will County. And they're amazing. What's very important is that our young people recognize the sacrifices that our veterans have made, especially those that have made the ultimate sacrifice. And that's why we have our 5th through 8th grade students out here today to listen and learn. I'm proud of you kids. You're doing a great job out there. At this time, it's absolutely my pleasure to introduce our keynote speaker, Denise Williams. Denise Williams is the proud Gold Star mother of PFC Andrew Mary, who was killed in action in Afghanistan on November 1st, 2010. Today marks the 11th anniversary of PFC Mary's service at Abraham Lincoln National Cemetery. Currently, Denise is the president of the Department of Illinois American Gold Star Mothers, the executive secretary on the board of Veteran Assistance Commission of Will County, a founding member of Our Patriots, Inc., and a member of the auxiliaries of the American Legion and VFW. Denise is also a national speaker and published writer on the topics of military and veteran issues, PTSD, and is completing her final internship as a clinical psychologist, specializing in military, veteran, first responder, and trauma. Please welcome to the stage, Denise Williams.
Once again, short people, the struggle is real. At least this time I could reach it. So thank you everyone for being here, and I want to thank everyone for coming out in this weather. But like Christy said, if you ever served in the military, you know if it's not raining, it's not training. I want to say thank you specifically to Christy McNichol and to the VAC for asking me to come and speak today. It's a little unusual in some ways to have a Gold Star mother speaking at a Veterans Day event. I assure you, I am well aware, as you are, of the difference between Veterans Day and Memorial Day. Memorial Day is when we stand in honor of all of those who fell in service to this country. Veterans Day is when we stand in honor of all who served. And that's all of you. And allowing me to be here today is a true and special privilege. Today, most of you are going to be going out someplace or just walking around the streets. Somebody's going to come up to you and offer to shake your hand and say, "Thank you for your service." It can be an uncomfortable thing. What do you say in response? Do you say, "You're welcome"? Well, that kind of feels a little uncomfortable because that's kind of saying that, well, I served just for you. So it feels a little strange. I understand this difficulty in how to respond in public, how to respond to well-meaning civilians, because I have that same issue. If they know what a Gold Star mother is, it's kind of a shock. And if they don't, then I get to be in the position of informing them, well, that means my child died in war. You don't hear that news without a reaction. I get that reaction from the veteran community. And it's understandable. And I can tell you a story, and actually I'll throw Christy under the bus with this one. The first time we met was probably close to 10 years ago. I was organizing an event for the VFW in my local VFW, and I came to talk to her because I wanted the VAC to get in on it. And after we're talking for a little while, she asked, well, who in your family served? And I said, well, my dad served in Korea and my son in Afghanistan. And I stopped talking. So now's the uncomfortable part. Natural act, oh, well, where did he serve, or what's he doing now? There's no good place for this conversation to go, because the next words are, he was killed in action on November 1st, 2010. If you are a veteran, if you are a human, that's a sucker punch to the gut, and I know it. How do I deliver that without causing that reaction in other people? And it was after talking about this that I realized it's not very dissimilar to what veterans go through. How do you accept the thanks of people that are well-meaning, but they really have no understanding? I'm constantly told, I cannot understand, I cannot imagine what you've gone through. You're right, you can't, and I don't want you to. There is no such thing as a Gold Star parent that wants others to know their pain. It's just a simple fact. Veterans want other people to know, but only a little bit. They don't want to be looked at as broken or damaged or that they've gone through some terrible thing. They just want to be acknowledged for their service, and even that can be uncomfortable. Most veterans I know are way too humble to stand up and take that thanks gracefully. This is just the simple world that the veterans live in. They walk in the world of the civilian, but they also occupy a separate place. Our job as civilians, because I am a civilian, is to respect them, to appreciate them, to thank them, and to acknowledge them. But in that thankfulness and in that space, we also have to give them the room to be who they are. Not expect them to be just like us, because they're not. I often say a veteran can walk in the civilian world, but a civilian cannot walk in the veteran world. That makes a veteran an evolved civilian. You can walk in our world, and we are grateful when you do. We are grateful for your presence. And we also are grateful to give you the space and the recognition. Because in that gratitude, that's where our thanks matter to veterans. So there's a quote that I wanted to read to you. Most of you have heard it. It's from John S. Mills, and it starts, "War is an ugly thing, but not the ugliest of things. The decayed and degraded state of moral and patriotic feeling which thinks that nothing is worth a war is much worse. A man who has nothing which he is willing to fight for, nothing which he cares about more than he does about his personal safety, is a miserable creature who has no chance of being free unless made and kept so by the exertions of better men than himself. As long as justice and injustice exists, human beings must be willing, when need is, to do battle for the one against the other." So to all of you veterans, my opinion, and I'm thinking the opinion of every civilian here, when we say thank you for your service, this is what we mean. This is what we understand. You did for us what we could not or would not do for ourselves, and we appreciate that. Personally, I appreciate being allowed to be in the veteran space at all. Like I said, I'm not a veteran, but I get to exist on the fringes. My world is filled with heroes, but so is yours, every one of you. Today, we take the time to stop and to recognize these heroes are ordinary people. They're right amongst us. Take the moment, thank them. Thank you all. Happy Veterans Day.
Denise, thank you very much. Thank you for your son's sacrifice and for your families as well. You're in our thoughts. Appreciate you. Denise talked about service and service of our veterans. In this community, our veterans not only served their nation proudly, right here in New Lenox, the home of proud Americans, our veterans continue to service our village in a number of ways. And as the mayor, on behalf of our entire community, I want to say thank you to you not only for your service to this great nation, but for helping keep this the home of proud Americans. Thank you. Appreciate you. There are a number of volunteers and people who come together. Just yesterday, there were over 100 volunteers that helped put up the Veteran Memorial Wall at the American Legion that you need to go see if you haven't seen it yet. But we have a community of great volunteers. And Christy and I wanted to make sure that we highlight the past and present service of those volunteers. You may have noticed some of our young people in uniform back there when you got here today. They are the members of the Lincoln Way Air Force Junior ROTC program, and they are run by Lieutenant Colonel Socados. So at this time, gentlemen, Mr. Lieutenant Colonel, please post your cadets. Lieutenant Colonel. Thank you, sir. At this time, it's my pleasure to introduce, from the Daughters of the American Revolution, Cindy Valencia.
Good morning. Yes, us short people. As members of the National Society Daughters of the American Revolution, we're proud to be descendants of some of the very first veterans of this great nation. I have been humbled and honored to be among so many veterans over the years, as you are truly the epitome of what it means to be a patriot. Since the birth of this nation, no single generation of Americans have been spared the responsibility of defending this great nation and defending our freedom. As a commemorative partner with the Department of Defense, the Daughters of the American Revolution have pledged to assist this nation in honoring our Vietnam veterans, honoring their families and their service. With amazing tolerance, the Vietnam veterans have risen above and beyond all others as they served as Patriot Guards, Patriot Riders, and Honor Guards. At this time, I would like to recognize and thank the following Vietnam veterans for their service and for their continued support in their community and their fellow veterans. Please hold your applause as each name is introduced after all names have been introduced and honored. Lynn?
Please excuse if I don't pronounce your name correctly. Jim Haluj?
Thank you, sir, for your service and welcome home. Here is a commemorative pin. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Henry Wright, United States Army.
Henry, thank you for your service and welcome home.
Andre Carter, United States Navy.
Andre, thank you for your service and welcome home.
Thank you.
Joe Kosielko. Joe Kosielko.
Next.
Travis Gordon, United States Navy.
Travis, thank you for your service and welcome home.
Ed Cadella, United States Navy.
Not here.
Frank Novak, United States Marine Corps.
Frank, thank you for your service and again, welcome home.
Daniel Schlifka, United States Air Force. Larry Soja, United States Army.
Larry, thank you for your service and again, welcome home.
Bob Burness, United States Army. Bob Brown, United States Army.
Okay. Might have to do that one again, I don't know. Bob, thank you for your service. God bless you. Welcome home.
Bill Welch, United States Marine Corps.
Bill, thank you for your service. God bless you and welcome home.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
John Forsyth, United States Army.
Absent.
Abe Gomez, United States Army.
Thank you. Abe, thank you for your service. Welcome home. God bless you.
Rick Soth, United States Air Force.
Rick, thank you for your service. God bless you and welcome home.
Dan Sipian, United States Army.
Closer. Might have gone out power. Dan, thank you for your service. God bless you and welcome home.
Tim Terrell, United States Navy.
Kind of yellow a little bit. I think the power went out. Tim, thank you for your service. God bless you and welcome home.
Thank you, Tim. John Walker, United States Army.
Thank you. Good job. Power went out.
Yeah,
Saw the lights flash.
yeah. Go on.
John, thank you for your service. God bless you and welcome home.
Thank you.
I'll
Ross Anderson, United States Army.
Ross, thank you for your service. God bless you and welcome home.
Thank you.
Bob Anselmo, United States Navy.
Bob, thank you for your service. God bless you and welcome home. That's it?
I don't know, there's one more person sitting down there. Did you get one?
Ross, Bob.
Lieutenant Colonel Sukatos, United States Air Force.
Okay. There you go. Do you have any more? Read the names one more time. Just say you'd like to read the names one more
I'd like to read these names one more time that have not answered. We don't want to leave anybody behind. Joe Concilielco, United States Army. Ed Cadella, United States Navy. Bob Burness, United States Army. Daniel Shifka, United States Air Force. John Forsyth, United States Army. Thank you.
On behalf of the daughters, we thank you.
All right, thank you very much. As you can see, with the weather, we've lost the power. But fortunately for you, all that's left to talk are a couple of politicians that are full of hot air. So we should be able to project for you. Again, as we get ready to conclude this ceremony, thank you, we want to say thank you to all that came up and spoke today, all of you for coming out here in this weather, all of our veterans who have served us so proudly, our active service members that continue to serve and keep our nation safe, and all of those families that also sacrifice so much so their loved ones can keep us free. Now, speaking of politicians, there are always promises made and very few kept. But with us today is former Governor Pat Quinn. And Governor Quinn made a promise many, many years ago that he would always honor our veterans and our military families. And this man has never, ever failed in that duty. Ever failed in that duty. And we're very grateful to have him here. So before we conclude, I want to say thank you to Governor Quinn because he's allowed our village to host the Portraits of a Soldier in our rotunda area. It's been here since Monday. In our audience today are the families of Army Specialist Michael Nance and Specialist Henry Mayfield. Specialist Nance was killed in action on July 29, 2019, while serving in Afghanistan. Specialist Mayfield was killed in action on January 5th, 2020, while serving in Kenya. I hope that these families are able to feel the love and appreciation that our veterans in our community have for you and your children. At this time, it's absolutely my pleasure to introduce the Honorable Pat Quinn.
Well, it's right in fitting that we're gathered here today, and we want to, on behalf of the people of Illinois, the people of Will County, the people of New Lenox, thank our veterans, all of those who raised their hand and said, "Here I am, take me." It's very important that we honor our veterans, not just on Veterans Day, but every day of the year. And in particular, I want to thank Denise Williams, who is the head of the Gold Star Mothers in Illinois. There is no more painful event in any parent's life than to lose your child, and especially in service to our country. Her son answered that call and gave his life for all of us. And thank you, Denise, for your heartfelt words. And I think it's also important that we ask the families who are gathered here today, Michael Isaiah Nance and his family. His name, I believe, was Michael Nance, but they called him Isaiah. There's an Old Testament prophet, Isaiah, who talked about volunteerism in the Old Testament. And in his words, it's, "Here I am, Lord. Is it I, Lord? I heard you calling in the night. I will go if you lead me, and I will hold your people in my arms." And all of us have been held in the arms of Isaiah, and also Henry Mayfield. His family is here today. Both of those young men gave their lives for our country. And as the mayor just mentioned, the portrait of a soldier is going to be up in the rotunda. We're going to process there after the ceremony is over. And the portraits of both Isaiah Nance and Henry Mayfield will be given to their families. A young man in my staff, when I was lieutenant governor and then later governor, drew the portraits of over 300 Illinois service members who gave their lives in Iraq and Afghanistan and around the world. He was joined, this young man, his name is Cameron Schilling, by Donald Jeremiah, who also has drawn these portraits. And it's very important we understand that it's our duty, the living, to remember the words of Abraham Lincoln, our president from Illinois, who spoke on November 19th of 1863 at a place called Gettysburg in Pennsylvania, the Gettysburg Address. And in 272 words, Abraham Lincoln spoke for not just his time, but for all time and for our time, that it's the duty of all of us, the living, to make sure that we protect our democracy, our government of the people and by the people and for the people. It shall not perish from this earth. And each one of our veterans and our service members who are depicted on those portraits who gave everything they had, as Lincoln said, their last full measure of devotion to that democracy. And it is very important that we honor that service to others. And it's important, I think, to understand that our veterans and all of those who have served in worn the uniform of our country have an ethic of service. They come from all parts of our state and our country. They come from all different places in society, but they understand that to be an American is to serve others. Service to others is a rent we pay for our place on God's earth. So it's very, very important that we are gathered here today. on this day, and we should not forget our veterans ever. My father was in World War II. He was in the United States Navy for 3 years, 1 month, and 15 days. He remembered every single day. He was on an aircraft carrier known as the Bon Homme Richard. There was a great American in our revolution by the name of John Paul Jones. His ship was the Bon Homme Richard, and he spoke for all of us, I think, that we wanted to have a democracy, a country of the people. We didn't want to be ruled by monarchs and aristocrats. We believe in everyday people banding together for causes they believe in. That's the most powerful force on earth. And I heard the mayor mention a moment ago that there were volunteers from this very community that came forward out of the goodness of their heart to help the community in the best traditions of America. And I think volunteerism is one of the best ways that we can honor our veterans and especially honor those who were killed in action from our state after 9/11 of 2001. I went as lieutenant governor and governor to over 300 military funerals and wakes to honor those men and women from our state. We all know who are living on 9/11 what a horrific day that was. Our democracy was attacked. We had to, as the people of America and the people of Illinois, rise to the occasion and make sure we defended democracy. And we had over 300 of our own boys and girls who answered that call to duty and gave their lives. As governor of Illinois, I went to Iraq twice and once to Afghanistan. And we had 3,700 Illinois National Guard deployed in 2009 to Afghanistan, to a very foreboding country. And those men and women served us well. And we owe them a permanent debt of gratitude, just like we owe each and every one of our veterans whose names have just been called, that they are the best of the best, pride of our nation. That's what FDR said during World War II. So it's important today that we do gather and honor that service and remember those who gave their lives in the defense of democracy. So I would invite everyone to please go in our procession up to the rotunda there to take a good look at the portrait of a soldier. You may not be able to see every single soldier. What we try to do as we travel about Illinois is take a moment or two to look in the eyes of those service members. You see their age, most of them very young. You see their rank. You see their branch of service and where they come from our state. Many of them from Will County, I might add. And it's important not to forget them. They gave their lives for us. And that's what being an American is all about, serving others and making the will of the people the law of the land. So we today on this Veterans Day ask God to bless all our veterans, thank them for their service. We love you, those who serve our country, and we always will. Thank you very much. Our sheriff, our Will County Sheriff, I think is going to step forward, Mayor, and lead us in this procession in order to take a good look at Portrait of a Soldier. Thank you. Very good. Thank you very much. No problem.
Governor, I brought my school kids. I'm going to ask if you wouldn't mind taking a quick picture.
Oh, gosh, yes. Are they over there?
They're right there.
Good for them.
This is the big one out.
Yeah, that's good.
Great kids.
What's everybody doing?
Folks, please feel free to follow the color guard into the rotunda. They'll lead the way.